Alright guys, tattoos and bodybuilding competition. Will it hurt your score? The answer, yes. Not for the reasons that you're thinking, but it absolutely will. What it comes down to is if you have ink, especially if you have ink like mine, which is really detailed, and it's not like a big tribal piece where it's all one color, the chances of you being able to tan dark enough to hide that detail is pretty low, unless you use a product called Dream Tan, which can hide the striations of your muscles and can hinder you even worse than the tattoos might. So it's good to play around with your skin and find out what makes you look best with your tanning protocol. But what it comes down to is if you have a similar physique as someone on stage next to you who doesn't have the tattoos, they don't have the issue of not being able to see the detail and striations in the muscles, as well as proper lighting and conditioning and just having a symmetry. Like my back and my chest, you'll notice my tattoos are not symmetrical, and so even though my chest is very symmetrical on stage, it can really throw it off because they're catching the attention of the tattoo. It's very hard for me to get dark enough. I mean, just imagine me getting dark enough to hide that. It's not going to happen. You just try to lessen it as much as you can and come in as hard and as lean as you can to make it so it's not as big of a deal. But absolutely, you stand next to a guy with the same exact physique as I do, and he's conditioning-wise, and he doesn't have this throwing it off, he places higher. He's got a more balanced, a more symmetrical physique. So if you don't have two tattoos already and you're considering getting them, but you want to compete seriously, it is definitely something to think about. Personally, me, I got my tattoos beforehand. I don't regret them at all. I love my tattoos. They're part of who I am. They're part of my personality, and I wouldn't go back and do it any other way. But I do have to incorporate it into how I pose and things like that. One thing that I do is I don't try to hide the fact that I have tattoos on stage. A lot of people try to cover them up and things like that, and I do parts of that because you want to be able to see the symmetry and the striations in my back and things like that. But I use the tattoos to my advantage, and they definitely can help. When you're on stage in a class with 25 people in it, you have to draw attention. If you don't draw attention, you're not going to place. And my tattoos definitely help with that. When I'm in physique class and I'm standing up there with a whole bunch of guys and we're all in the same height, similar physiques, judges will try, and they always come back to me because I stand out. So they spend more time looking at my physique than they do some of the people who just have a normal physique up there. So they definitely can help and they can hinder. It's just kind of how you want to look at it. But there are judges out there, and I have run into one in my competitions who just do not like tattoos. She gave me last place in every category in every class I competed in. She just was not a tattoo fan. The fact I have as many as I had just ruined it for her. They throw out the best and the worst score when you compete, so it didn't affect me, but it is important to know that there are judges out there, based on their style and what they think bodybuilding is, who will do that, because there's no rules that they can't. So just a couple thoughts on that for you guys, and if you have any questions, just feel free to hit me up. You can email me at ljmdixon@gmail.com, and I try to answer everybody that I can.